Hello and welcome. As we all know, Wednesday is the next inauguration of America's president. This year has been exceptionally traumatic. And since I'm filming this days before, we do not know yet what exactly will happen that day. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. However, I can tell you what has happened in other inaugurations. Some inaugurations are somber due to world events, such as FDR's first during the Great Depression, or his last during World War II. But they all have one thing in common: a 35-word oath of office. I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. This is typically administered by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, however, with some distinct outliers. For example, Johnson was administered the oath by the first woman judge to ever have that honor, Sarah T. Hughes. This was done, of course, after JFK's assassination and while on the plane at Love's Field, waiting to return to Washington, D.C. Coolidge was administered the oath of office by his father, a notary public, in his kitchen after his predecessor, Harding, died from a heart attack while on the road in California. There is one occasion where the president was administered the oath by a former president. That was in 1929, when former President Taft, now the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, the only president to have risen to that honor after leaving office, administered the oath to Hoover. January 20th was not always the day for inauguration. Until FDR's third inauguration, the event had taken place in March 4th to be exact. That gave enough time for the ballots to be cast, counted, and winners to make their way to Washington. The reason for this change? Advancement in communication and technology and transportation. There was no longer need to wait as long for a new administration. When Lincoln took the office in 1860, 7 southern states had already seceded from the Union since his election. 4 more states threatened to do the same. It would only be 6 weeks later that the American Civil War would begin. The first inauguration to be photographed was that of Buchanan in 1857. McKinley's in 1897 was the first to be filmed. And Truman's in 1949 was the first to be televised. Clinton's was the first to be live streamed via the internet in 1997. The first inauguration to have poetry read at was JFK's, where the author Robert Frost recited his poem, The Gift Outright. This has happened only 3 other times: Clinton in 93 and 97, Obama in 2009 and 2013, and Biden in 2021. Carter started the informal act of jumping out of the limousine to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue in front of the gathering crowds. It is a tradition every other president has followed since, although pre-planned, unlike Carter seemed to be. The inauguration was moved to the Capitol's rotunda for the first time for Reagan's inauguration in 1981. Before that, most took place at the Capitol's East Portico. In 2001, another first occurred when former president attended the inauguration for his own son. This, of course, was when Bush was inaugurated. Our other father-son duo was Adams and John Quincy Adams. And while the elder lived to see his son become president, I do not believe he attended the inauguration. He died the following year. One of the more unusual inaugurations was that of Ford, who was the first unelected vice president to assume the presidency due to being appointed to that position thanks to the 25th Amendment after Nixon's former vice president resigned. It was, of course, upon Nixon's resignation that Ford took the oath. This ceremony was held in East Room of the White House. It was a simple affair without the flair that other presidents often received, but alongside those such as Johnson and Coolidge. The inauguration of an American president is supposed to be, and historically has been, a peaceful transition of power. It is the cornerstone of our American representative democracy. It is part of the Founding Fathers' great experiment that started before our country was even a country. I hope that we will see another peaceful transition on Wednesday. I will be watching, as will our future generation of voters and leaders. So thanks for joining me. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy,